Hello and welcome. My name is Lisa Smith, and I am the founder, head trainer, coach extraordinaire of the Coaching Center for Mind Training and Success. For over 25 years, I've been using and teaching brain-based techniques to help people just like you to achieve more sustainable, quicker, and easier behavior change, as well as optimizing performance levels, whether it's professional or personal. What I am going to be talking about today is positive intelligence and mental fitness, how to grow the 3 core muscles to thrive in challenging times. And we're talking here about mental muscle versus physical muscle. So I want to invite you, as we start off on this mini class, to close your eyes for a moment and begin to go back to a memory. Maybe it was a recent memory, maybe it was a bit ago. But think of the last time that you had a big or unexpected change, setback, disappointment, failure, or conflict. As you pull something up, I want you to think about and remember what was happening in that experience. What were you feeling about the situation? How did you respond to it? Did you respond in a way that you feel good about? Or did you respond in a negative way? Fear, resistance, denial, anger, depression, or sadness? And how long did it take you to recover from that negative response and get back to a state that felt more neutral, calm, focused, and even being able to respond to the situation in a more favorable way? As you look back on it now, how happy are you with the way that you responded? Did your response negatively impact yourself or others? What about the outcome? Did you take longer than you would have liked to recover from that situation and to respond in a more positive way? And what might have worked out better in this situation if you had been able to bounce back more quickly, if you'd been able to bypass a lot of the negative emotions and get straight to the solution? And what would it be like if you could respond to future seemingly negative situations more quickly, bounce back without all that fear, stress, worry? And maybe even been able to look at it as something that had a gift for you or some opportunity that came out of it. Being able to do that, to bounce back from the unexpected, from seeming failures, disappointments, conflict, much more quickly, much more easily, much more favorably, without all those negative emotions. even finding a gift or opportunity in it and being grateful. Well, that's what positive intelligence and mental fitness is all about. So go ahead and open your eyes if you haven't already. And let's talk a little bit about mental fitness. I'm actually going to use some slides today to help to emphasize some of the points that I'll be covering. There we go. So mental fitness is actually your superpower. We're going to talk today about how to grow the 3 core mental muscles to thrive in challenging times. What is mental fitness? The definition is your capacity to respond to life's challenges with a positive and helpful mindset and response rather than a negative and sabotaging mindset and response. The impact of that is widespread. It can help you to create greater peace of mind and overall wellness, healthier relationships, help you to achieve more of your true potential, become a better leader, and have more resilience and adaptability to the unexpected. Which of those areas would you like to work on and improve? One, several, all of them? The great thing is that positive intelligence and this mental fitness training can help you with any and all of those areas. And it was created out of 4 areas of research: positive psychology, cognitive psychology, neuroscience, and performance science. So all 4 of those wrapped up in positive intelligence. The research on positive intelligence and the results from it includes over 500,000 participants from 50 different countries, hundreds of CEOs and their executive teams from Fortune 100 companies, Stanford University students, world-class athletes, clubs, organizations, nonprofits, and couples and families. The research is summarized in the New York Times bestselling book by Shirzad Chamine called Positive Intelligence, and that has been translated into 20 languages. The results of factor analysis, which is bringing things down into their simplest form, is that there are only 3 core muscles at the root of mental fitness: your saboteur interception muscle, your sage response muscle, and your self-command muscle. So I'm going to be covering each of these separately. And one of the things that we teach in positive intelligence is about our saboteurs and our sage. Ultimately, we are all sage, and we have saboteurs that get in our way from acting in a more sage, wise, positive mind frame. There's 10 saboteurs, which I'll be covering, and then 5 sage powers that we teach to help you to activate more of that sage mind. And the self-command muscle is really the bridge between your saboteur mind and your sage mind. So let's start first with the saboteur interception muscle. Our main saboteur is what we call the judge. And the judge judges yourself, others, or your situation as either bad, wrong, not good enough in some way. So think about that for a moment. How often do you find in your head that judge criticizing yourself, blaming, shaming, judging, or doing that about others, or even about your situation? Now, the judge is bad enough, that critical voice in your head constantly berating you, calling you names, making you feel bad about yourself. But the judge also has these 9 accomplice saboteurs. These are like different personas that, different personas that the judge uses to continue to do that berating and making you or your situation bad, wrong, or not good enough in some way. So we've got the controller, the hyperachiever, restless, stickler, pleaser, hypervigilant, avoider, victim, and hyperrational. So I want you to just kind of look at those labels for a moment and think about what those labels represent and the type of persona that that saboteur has. And then think about for yourself what of those personas seems like something that you can identify with. There's an assessment that I'll talk about near the end, and I'll give you a link to so that you can take that will actually help you to assess what your top saboteurs are. When I did the saboteur assessment, I actually had 3 that were tied for first place at 7.5 out of 10. And that is hyperachiever, pleaser, and stickler. Stickler's like the perfectionist. Hyperachiever is the need to constantly perform in order to feel good enough and being afraid of making mistakes or looking flawed. And the pleaser, constantly trying to gain acceptance by pleasing others. So which of these do you feel might describe you? And perhaps you're seeing faces of other people that you know in any of these descriptions. Maybe a family member, maybe a coworker, maybe a friend. And this is what the assessment will look like when you take it and you get your results. So you see stickler and hyperachiever for this person is tied at 7.5, and then descending scores for each of the others. Now, why are the saboteurs bad? Because the saboteurs try to help us to deal with these negative situations, but doing it in a way that doesn't feel good and oftentimes boomerangs back with some kind of negative repercussion. The saboteurs motivate you through these negative emotions of fear, stress, anger, guilt, shame, insecurity. And even though they might generate some outward success initially, we either don't feel happy even though we have the success, or as I mentioned before, we have some negative repercussions based on the way that we responded to the situation. The sage, on the other hand, motivates you through positive emotions such as empathy, curiosity, creativity, passion, and purpose, and generates your highest success, your true potential, and sustained happiness instead of trading one for the other. So that's a little bit about the saboteur interception muscle. Now, the sage response is more of what we want to begin to build up within ourselves. The sage lives in the region of the brain that's associated with positive emotions, peace and calm, clear-headed focus, creativity, and more seeing things more in the big picture. And the sage uses cooperation and collaboration to help to achieve its goals. The sage operates from what we call the sage perspective, which I'll explain in a moment, and uses 5 powers in order to respond to setbacks, challenges, disappointments, failures, and conflict. And the sage perspective is that every outcome or circumstance can be turned into a gift or opportunity. Sometimes it's easy to find more apparent, and sometimes we have to dig a little bit deeper to really look, go into the sage perspective, use the sage powers, and be in the third muscle, which is the self-command muscle, which I'll describe in a moment. And sometimes we need a little bit of time to pass and some other things to play out before we can look back and see that there was some kind of gift that came from it, or some kind of opportunity that came, or that we were able to create from the situation. So I'm going to ask you, which perspective is true? If you think about a past experience that you had, maybe that one at the very beginning that you thought of, and the saboteur perspective would be that that was bad. That situation was something that was bad in some way. The sage perspective would be that there's something in that situation that's a gift. So two different perspectives, two different ways to look at the situation. Which one of them is true? The answer is you get to decide which one is true. And the filter by which you see the situation, whether you're seeing it as some kind of gift or opportunity, or whether you're seeing it just as something that's bad, is going to influence how you respond to it and what you make of it. The ways that we teach people to do that is through the 5 sage powers of response, which are empathy, exploration, innovation, navigation, and activation. So there's a little bit more of a description of each of those in the parentheses. So these are the 5 powers that we teach people to turn to help them to get into the sage response mode. And we teach these fun 6 power games that help you to access and use one or more of the sage powers with whatever situation is coming up that initially your saboteurs are looking at as bad, and creating the old response that doesn't create happiness or creates negative repercussions. And then finally, we have the self-command muscle. And as I mentioned before, the self-command muscle is the bridge between the saboteur way of thinking and responding and being able to respond as the sage. So we're going to do a demonstration of building that self-command muscle and using that. And in positive intelligence, we talk about PQ reps. PQ stands for positive intelligence quotient. Your balance or your capability, it's a score of 0 to 100 of responding to a situation more positively versus negatively. Ideal score is at least 75, which means that 75% of the time you're able to respond more in a sage way versus 25% of the time in a more saboteur way. And what we found is that the brain needs 3 positives to counterbalance 1 negative. And that's one of the reasons why the score is 75. So 3 to 1, 75% versus 25%. So we're going to do some PQ reps here. And PQ reps can be done anytime, any place, while you're doing other things. And it's basically tied into any of your senses. So it could be tactile, something that you touch, or movement. PQ rep could be something that you look at intently, or something that you listen to with sharp focus. It could even be something that you taste or smell. And basically what you're doing is for 10 seconds, being so laser focused on that sensation to the exclusion of other things. And in that 10-second period, you start to deactivate the saboteurs, which are coming from the hindbrain, and that's where that fight or flight mechanism is activated from. And it starts to activate the area behind the forehead called the prefrontal cortex, and that's where the sage lives. Saboteurs back here, the primitive brain, fight or flight, reactionary, conditioned responses, fear-based, versus the prefrontal cortex, creativity, logic, reason, problem solving, and positive emotions. So let's just demonstrate, or I'm going to demonstrate for a moment, a PQ rep. So one of the ones that we first learned to do is rubbing your fingers together, the thumb and the forefinger together, slowly, eyes open, or sometimes eyes closed helps you to focus even more. Just very slowly rub your fingers together and just notice all the sensations, the sense of touch, the temperature of your fingers, the softness or roughness, the feel of gliding your fingers back and forth with such attention that you could actually feel the ridges of your fingertips. And then you can focus on your breath and the rhythm of your breath and the sensation of your breath, temperature of the air passing into your nostrils, out of your nostrils, whether you're breathing in through your nose or your mouth, how the chest and abdomen rise and lower with each inhale and exhale. Anything else that you can notice about your breath for 10 seconds. If any other thoughts pop in, just let them pass and focus on your breath again. And then move your attention to your feet. Feeling your feet flat on the floor. And then begin to wiggle all 10 of your beautiful, wonderful toes. This state of awe, curiosity, wonder, gratitude. No judgment at all. No making anything bad or no comparisons, just observing, noticing with attention and awareness, the sensation of wiggling your toes and sensing all 10 of your toes. And then listen to a sound. It might be the sound of my voice, or when I pause for a moment, focus on another sound in the room around you, something that's close to you or something that's far away. With such attention, just noticing that sound without any judgment. Again, if any intrusive thoughts come, just refocus on that sound. And then go ahead and open your eyes and look at something. Maybe the screen, maybe my face, maybe something in the room around you. But just focus on one thing. And again, your whole attention, noticing all the shapes, the size, the distance, colors, 10 seconds. No judgment, maybe curiosity, awe, wonder, appreciation. Very good. And then just bring yourself back. So that's a demonstration of a variety of PQ reps that you can do. Very simple, right? And again, you can do them anytime, any place. You can do PQ reps while you're brushing your teeth, noticing the feel of the tingling in your mouth and the taste of the toothpaste or the foaming. You can notice the feel of your hand around the handle of the toothbrush. You can notice the feel of the bristles of the toothbrush going across your teeth and your gums. You can do PQ reps while you're in the shower, feeling the sensation of the water flowing over your body, noticing the drain and the water circling around and going down the drain. So the sound of the water coming out. You can do it while you're driving. You can do PQ reps while you're eating, slowing down your eating, being fully focused on your food and appreciating it. So you're less likely to overeat. You can do it while you're driving. You can do it while you're in a meeting. You can do PQ reps while you're talking to somebody, even focusing fully on some feature of their face, again, without any judgment or criticism, just a state of awareness, maybe even some of the sage feelings of appreciation, awe, wonder, gratitude. And after doing a few seconds, a string of PQ reps for a minute, 2 minutes, you should find that you're in a more positive state. You've activated more of your sage muscle. So you've learned the 3 core mental muscles to build in order to be able to meet challenges from the sage perspective and powers instead of from the saboteurs, which cause us problems. Let's put it all together. It's very, very simple, the operating system of positive intelligence. First thing to notice, negative feelings are always a sign that the saboteurs are in play. Sage never has negative feelings to it. Fear, doubt, shame, worry, frustration, confusion, sadness, all of that is coming from the saboteurs. And judging the situation, yourself or others, is bad, wrong, or not good enough in some way. So every time that you notice those negative emotions, stop. Remember you're in saboteur mode. Start to do some PQ reps. Create that bridge out of saboteur into sage by doing some PQ reps. It might be 10 reps, 10 seconds each, 100 seconds. 1 minute is about 6 PQ reps. It might need to be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We have a great app for positive intelligence that actually will guide you through 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 12 minutes of doing PQ reps in different ways. So do those PQ reps to quiet the saboteurs and begin to activate the sage perspective. Looking at not why is this happening to me, but why is this happening for me? What could be the gift or the opportunity to come out of this situation? And if you think about that prior situation at the very beginning that I had you go back and recall, can you see now that some time has passed that there was some opportunity within it? There was some gift, something positive that came out of it, or some way that you made something positive come out of the situation. And then step number 4, after the sage perspective, either finding a gift or opportunity, or at least letting yourself know that at some point there is going to be a gift or opportunity that you're going to find in it or be able to make from it, even if not immediately. And for identify the gift or opportunity, using the sage powers such as empathy, curiosity, creativity, purpose, and calm, clear-headed, laser-focused action, which is all the powers of the sage. So question for you, or a question that oftentimes people have, is it really possible to just shift from saboteur to sage response, even in very tough challenges? The answer is absolutely yes, but the speed in which you're able to do that, the depth of that shift really depends on your mental muscle strength. Just like you, if you just start out at the gym and you try to lift 100-pound weight, you're not going to be able to do it. It's too much for you because you're not physically at that level yet to be able to lift that much of a weight. But if you practice over time, your muscle will get stronger, and over time, eventually be able to lift more and more of the weights, like a higher and higher level of weight. Eventually, you'll go into the gym, and what was once very hard for you to lift, that 100 pounds, now you're able to lift more quickly and more easily. Same thing with our mental muscle. We have to strengthen it over time. And when we do, we're able to better handle those higher level disruptions and challenges. So which is true? Sorry, the saying, knowledge is power, is this true? Some people would say yes, but I say no. Knowledge is simply information. Knowledge applied is where the power is. So think about everything that you learned here today about your mental fitness, about positive intelligence, about the saboteurs, the sage, and the bridge between the two, the self-command muscle. How can you apply at least one thing from what you learned here today? Success, remember, requires intense initial practice. When we're first starting off with something, we have to do it more frequently. We have to do it more intensely to build up, whether it's physical or whether it's mental, to build up over time. You can't defeat a gang of 10 bandits by sending in one new fighter every day for 100 days. It's just not going to happen. You're going to get creamed. So what we teach in positive intelligence is that there's a short period of intense initial practice to start to build up that mental muscle, which is as little as 6 weeks. 15 minutes a day dispersed throughout the day in 2 to 3 minute segments for that 6 to 8 week period. And then after that, in order to maintain that level of mental fitness that you've developed, it only takes about 15 minutes a day, again, ideally spread out throughout the day in 2 to 3 minute segments, either as needed when saboteurs come up, or just while you're doing simple things, driving, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, eating, exercising, etc., to maintain that muscle that you've built up. Now, there's a lot of measurable ROI, return on investment, from learning mental fitness and going through the mental fitness training program that we teach with positive intelligence. Here are just some examples in corporate of measurable results that salespeople and corporations and teams have been able to measure, notice as a result of going through the positive intelligence program. The mental fitness training program is a 6-week course, although I teach it in 8 weeks because I have an orientation beforehand to make sure that people are onboarded effectively about the program, how to use the online tools, and how to use the app that comes with it, and do some group coaching and Q&A throughout the 8-week course. There's the app that I mentioned for daily coach challenges, helping you to do guided PQ reps. You can always do them on your own as well, but also for tracking all the PQ reps that you do throughout the day through the use of the exercises in the app, or manually entering any of your own PQ reps that you've done through the day. So there's tracking of it, and you get to see meters increasing over time, showing the results of what you're getting out of building your mental fitness. And there's also communication within the app with other people who are going through the training program. So you can share your experiences, your challenges, best practices, success stories, etc. So you're never in it alone. Ideally, I bring people through the program with others. It might be strangers, or it might be teams of people that already know each other. And it's ideal to do it in these small, what we call pods of 3 to 6 people. So think about it. Are you somebody who has a staff or team? This would be a great training program to bring them all through, so they're all learning how to manage their saboteurs, become more sage in their responses, and teams get along better when they've gone through this training, because they're now dealing with each other and themselves in a much more positive way. And it, of course, trickles into the personal life as well, because it improves all kinds of relationships. Maybe there's a group that you belong to, maybe some kind of organization, maybe a charity, a nonprofit, a board that you're on. This would be a great program for everyone to go through as well. And if you're doing this as a nonprofit, I donate $50 per person to the nonprofit for every person in your nonprofit who goes through the course with me. If you're interested in doing the positive intelligence program, or just getting a little bit more information about it, how it works, and the fees for going through the program, you can contact me at lisa@themindtrainingcenter.com. You'll see the email address right there on the screen, or you can always call 757-828-7960, which is my office number. Be happy to talk with you about that, or send you some more information. And I do recommend that you take some action and complete the Saboteur Assessment. The Saboteur Assessment can be accessed through this link, bit.ly/. PQ-SAB. So that's bit.ly/ capital P, capital Q, capital S, capital A, capital B for PQ-SAB. Again, it's all capitals after that / bit.ly/ PQ-SAB. That's where you can go to enter your name and your email address. You'll be sent the link to take the Saboteur Assessment, and then you will be emailed your results. So think about any ahas that you got today, any takeaways, how you're going to apply something from what you learned. And again, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thanks for joining me today, learning about positive intelligence, building your mental fitness, and your ability to handle challenges and setbacks, even extreme ones, in a more effective way. Take care, everyone.